A really good piece at the Federalist today, and this was not related to the Kaepernick story, but it's a story. It's a piece about why we need to preserve monuments to people like Washington and Jefferson. It's by Dennis Weissman. It's really good. We've talked about this a lot here. He makes some great points, but what really jumped out at me was a link to a story in the New York Times. The story was written on December 28th. That would be December 28th, 1860. That's 1860. And I want to read you a little quote from it. No, it's not a little quote. It's kind of long, but here it is. While I was at the hotel today, an elderly gentleman called. While I had not proposed to myself on this occasion to say much on that subject, of qualified forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. And inasmuch as they cannot so live, while they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. Now is that the difference under the Constitution not that power. If the state of Illinois had that power, I should be opposed to the exercise of it. And that is all I have to say about it. That is from Abraham Lincoln in 1860, a few years before he, came up with the Emancipation ever drove around in a Lincoln automobile? Think he's ever been to Lincoln, Nebraska? Think he's ever ago, or 150 years ago, by today's standards? And this is the world that Abraham Lincoln was born into. Now, he eventually, as everybody knows, you know what he did. A few years later, he was the president of the United States, and there was a civil war, and, and people who are appointed to as Washington, you're going to have he's at the project. Fields for Miracle League of Moon.
There's I think, just great opportunity. Oh, it's believable the way they can.
It'll serve one tour, West Allegheny. The 200 children will be eligible to participate, and it'll also serve adults. businesses. This is John Steigerwald. If you prepared, free of charge. All you have to do is visit Windows R Us Pittsburgh. Windows R Us is the area's and one of the fastest turnaround times. WindowsRUsPittsburgh.com. Mention STAG for an additional 10% off at WindowsRUsPittsburgh.com. That's Windows R Us Pittsburgh, sponsor of the Jerk of the Week, heard every Friday right here on the John Steigerwald Show. WindowsRUsPittsburgh.com.
Summer is here, and so are the bugs and other pests. Don't let your home or business be overrun this season with unwanted intruders. Forget about throwing your money away on those harmful toxic chemicals. This season, plug in pest free. G'day, I'm Scott from Plug In Pest Free. This summer, turn your house rodents and other unwanted pests, effectively driving them out the safe. Our bestseller, the Plug In Pest Pro, covers online today at gopestfree.com. That's gopestfree.com, promo code SAVE20. Don't spray and regret, plug in and forget.
Are you overwhelmed, unable to think clearly, or sleep? Wrestling with a problem that seems too big or too impossible to overcome. Other times, people are consumed by a past hurt. I'm part of a network of Christian counselors, fellow believers, trusted therapists who share your faith. We want to give you a free week so you can try us out. You can begin a conversation with one of us by text or phone, even video. Are you ready to shake this off and begin enjoying your life? If it's not for you, cancel and you'll not pay a dime. Go to tryfaithfulcounseling.com. It's time to talk to someone who can help. Go now to tryfaithfulcounseling.com. It's so easy to get started, and your first week is free. Go now to tryfaithfulcounseling.com.
This is the John Steigerwald, AM 1250, The Answer.
Well, we told you at the top of the show about Nike's decision to cancel the release of shoes with the Betsy Ross American flag on them at the request of Colin Kaepernick. He says that the flag carries connotations of slavery, which seems like a stretch, but that's what he says. Let's ask Counsel Nedd. He's co-chairman of Project 21, Black Leadership Network, and we should say Bishop Counsel Nedd of St. Albans Church in Pine Grove Mills, Pennsylvania. Should I call you Bishop or Counsel?
You can call me Counsel. That'd be great.
All right. Thanks for being here, Counsel.
No, thanks for having me on. Kaepernick, who, for whatever reason, was given millions of dollars by Nike. And how does Colin Kaepernick return the favor to Nike? They released a patriotic shoe, and he voices some objection. They kowtow to him. Sales are lost. And is that how you repay your friends, I guess, if Colin Kaepernick is, in fact, one of your friends? But the other problem I have is that who does Nike think they are? Because it's offensive. You know, it's the Betsy Ross flag. How inoffensive can you get? How integral to the core of who we are as an American people to have a Betsy Ross flag on a shoe? I mean, that doesn't happen very often. But people here is that I'm glad I'm not a Nike shareholder. I'll start with that, because they've essentially alienated half of the population of the United States, probably more than that. You know, there's people who shed blood for this country on a daily basis. There's military, there's law enforcement, and just lots of hardworking Americans who are proud to be an American, and Nike says, you know what, we don't care what you think.
You know what's interesting, though, Counsel, is that back when several months ago, when Nike decided to make Kaepernick the face of their program, their marketing ploy, everybody thought that they were going to go in a tank and sales would go down, but they ended up going up. Made the point that Nike looked at it as a marketing strategy that actually markets directly to the people that they think they appeal to, meaning urban, black, and international. And apparently they don't think it's going to
happen. You know, I was upset by it, but I wasn't going to throw away my Nikes. I wasn't going to vow to ever buy Nikes ever again. I wasn't going to make that promise. But, you know, I think this has gone too far, because at this point I said, you know what? I'm done with Nike personally. I'm not planning to buy any more Nike shoes in the near or distant future if they continue on this trajectory. And I think a lot of people will do that exactly.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't know that if there's a product I like, I don't get all wrapped up in the political aspects of it, and I don't let that really influence me too often. But I'm thinking now that I may not buy another pair of Nike shoes either. And on another subject, I won't even get into it. I don't have time to do it today. But I ain't buying any Oreos for a while either. I don't know if you've seen that story, but that's a different story.
No, I've missed one.
Pronouns. So that's another story. Anyway, Emery.
Well, my doctor says I don't need to eat so many Oreos anymore.
That's right.
Since I've turned 50, so okay, I can live with that.
Well, Google that Oreos new cookie, and you'll find it.
Okay.
Emery McClendon of Project 21 said in a release today that most Americans disagree with Kaepernick's position against saluting and honoring our national symbol. Black Americans disagree with Emery and agree with Kaepernick.
I don't think that most Americans agree with Kaepernick. I just don't believe that. And certainly not. I don't think most Black Americans. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of Black Americans just like Nike shoes. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Period.
Lots of Americans like Nike shoes. Pretty successful brand, yeah.
Well, exactly. But again, there's lots of people in the Black population who, have served this country in various capacities, whether it's in the military or in law enforcement. Who find this whole thing offensive.
Yeah, but if you, as a white guy sitting over here, talking to a black guy, and I always say, I hate this, like when I talk to a black person about subjects like this, expect the black person to speak for all black people in America, just as I don't speak for all white people. But sometimes, you get into that, and so I'm just wondering if the black people, is there a pressure from the media, peer pressure, to elevate someone like Colin Kaepernick?
Well, as a black guy talking to a white guy, I would say yes. There is, I think, some pressure because what you hear on most of the news channels across this country, they're echoing this sort of thing, and actually they're sort of propping it up and maybe even leading the way. And if that's all you hear on media, and then that's what you're hearing from your peers, then yeah, sure, hey, why not go along?
Yeah, but so is Colin Kaepernick, would you consider him a hero? Not you personally, but among especially young black guys?
Well, I'm 50 years old. Mm-hmm. I have no into young people at all, in all honesty, short of my grandkids.
Yeah.
But so I don't honestly know. Like, I'm not hip, I'm not cool anymore. I really don't know, but I think it's a lack of hearing any other messages, and it's just easier to go along than to, than to be the raised nail and get knocked down.
And just in general, do you think that there's been we had the reparations hearings. There seems to be so much of that. You have Kamala Harris going after Joe Biden for something he said 40 years ago and being against busing. Is there just where is that coming from, and how do you overcome that, and what's the effect, I think, on blacks when it comes to voting?
Well, to beat Biden.
Your reaction when you saw Kamala Harris being called the big winner and said that she hit a home run when she went after Biden on that subject?
Well, I guess, again, it's a big field, and, somebody has to win. If you got a large field, again, somebody has to win, and it seemed like, for lack of a better term, she was the winner. So I guess I'll give her that. I thought she was the most interesting and probably more compelling out of the entire group, but at this point, I think it's an anti-distinction. He won the first debate. We're a long ways out for the primaries, so.
Yeah, after Joe Biden for saying that he had to work with segregationists and was able to get along with them and do some good things, not related to obviously segregation. Was it unfair to attack him on that?
I think it's not unfair to attack Joe Biden on anything. Entire life in the public sphere, in the United States Senate,
being
and
wrong.
Then as vice. But he's got a lot of stuff out there that he's going to have to defend. And if he can maneuver his way and defend all of his position and elected, great. He'll get crushed in the general election.
Yeah, and what about the emphasis lately on reparations? Is that a winner? And for is it just pure pandering? And is it going to get votes?
It's pure pandering. I don't know that the House leadership will allow something like that to go through, because they're going to have to defend that in the general elections that follow. So I think it's probably, them posing for holy pictures right now, but there's no actual legs behind it that's going to get this one passed in the House, passed in the Senate, and signed by the president. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and I wonder when you see someone really pushing this. To me, it's really kind of cynical, because I don't think that even the most rabid supporters of that, I'm talking about reparations, really believe that it's possible to to just the logistics of it. That I don't think any of them really think it's going to happen.
No, there's logistically, there's no way to actually sort of make this happen effectively or fairly, and I think everybody knows that. It just sounds good on the campaign stump in certain segments of the population.
We're talking to Council Nedd. He's co-chairman of Project 21 and Black Leadership Network. I came across something today, and I want to run it by you just to get your reaction to it. There's been a lot of talk about covering up statues, and it's kind of ties in with what Kaepernick said about the shoes and all that. And there was a piece today on the in there. This guy who wrote this linked to a story, believe it or not, from the New York Times from December 28th, 1860. And it quoted Abraham Lincoln, a long quote from Abraham Lincoln about how he did not believe that Negroes should ever he was defending himself from the criticism that he was in favor of Negroes being allowed to vote, Negroes being allowed to serve on juries, and he was defending himself, saying, I never said that, and I don't believe that. The reason I bring this up is because it was stunning to me, but this is a case of someone who was in the world he lived in. And should we start covering the Lincoln Memorial up, or demanding that we don't revere him anymore?
Yeah, and this part of what you said we cut out for a second, but essentially, no, we should not be doing that. The fact is that's not who we are as a people. We learn from our history and we move on from there. Tearing down statues, and monuments in the West, what Americans do. That's what happens in Soviet era communist countries or in the Middle East, where they're quick to forget their history and start rewriting a new future and a new history based on falsehoods. We need those reminders here, and they're nice reminders. Mm-hmm. And again, that's not who we are as a people. We don't tear down monuments to former heroes just because they're not in vogue anymore.
Well, this guy made a good point. He talked about Germany, and he said the concentration camps are still there. Auschwitz is still there because they want it to be there. They want it to be remembered.
We need those reminders. We need those reminders of, bad, tragic, historic events in our history so that we don't repeat the bad.
Well,
probably Under Armour.
I'm going with Adidas on right now, but it's gonna be a while till I buy.
Thanks so much for having me on.
All right, thank you. And that's Council Nedd. He's the co-chairman of Project 21, Black Leadership Network. That's a organization of black conservatives. And when we come back, we're going to talk. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
For Nike to build a manufacturing plant in the state after the company dropped plans to release a sneaker with a Betsy Ross flag on it.
Governor Doug Ducey ordering the state's Commerce Authority to withdraw incentives for a $1.5 million plant. Flag's connection to an era of slavery. Ducey accusing Nike of bowing to an onslaught of correctness.
SRN News.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated price competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happened.
$3551, 800-607-3551, or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Jay Sekulow believes Mueller's testimony could backfire.
Bob Mueller stated that his report was his testimony. Thus, is going to be his report. Now, I think this is going to back. As far as how this whole thing started, may have to come out.
Jay Sekulow live, weeknights at 6, right before Larry Alder at 7, on AM 1250. The Answer.
This is Jay Hagerman of Abernathy. You wouldn't want a judge to decide who raises your children. estate gets divided. It is important to review your estate planning document. At Abernathy Hagerman, we will work with you to establish an estate plan that nominates a guardian for your minor children and that your assets are used for your family's benefit. Judge for yourself. For legal help that lasts a lifetime, visit a-h.law.
Here is your new Pella Lifestyle window when open. Here it is, closed. The new Pella Lifestyle series is the #1 noise outside. PellaPittsburgh.com.
Community Bank, City Mission, #1 Cochrane, Highmark Stadium, Peters Township Community Center, Angelo's Restaurant. What do all these businesses have in common? Nello Construction, design. Begin the journey at NelloConstruction.com.
Warning, sharks sighted in water.
Warrant all identity theft or cyber. Join at LifeLock.com and use promo code SMART to get 10% off your first year.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer.
There's a big tie-up on northbound 79. It's jammed up 519 up to South Point Boulevard. That because of an accident. And we've got an accident cleared, though, from the Parkway West and the inbound side approaching it. Also busy on the outbound side of the Parkway West between Parkway Center Drive and Green Tree. Parkway East slows down outbound between Bates Street and the Squirrel Hill Tunnel. That's a look at traffic. I'm Jenny Robinson.
AM 1250, The Answer. Weather.
Warm and muggy tonight. We'll have clouds, couple showers, and a thunderstorm. And below drop to 70. Mix of clouds and sun tomorrow. Warm and sticky day with a shower and thunderstorm in the area. We'll reach 85 for a high. Mainly cloudy, a sticky 68 for the low tomorrow night. And then Independence Day will be very warm and humid. We'll have a mix of clouds and sun with a shower and thunderstorm around it, mainly in the afternoon and evening. High will be 87. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Frank Strait.
You're listening to the John Steigerwald Show on AM 1250. The Answer.
Remember Nick Sandman, the kid from Covington High School in Kentucky. He was trashed for several days by lots of media outlets. That was back in January. Called a racist and one of those bad, privileged white kids. When there was an incident with a Native American who got in his face and pounded a drum down in Washington. Well, Sandman is suing the Washington Post for $250 million. Also CNN for the same amount. And yesterday in Kentucky, a judge turned down the Post's request to dismiss the case. So now what? That's a good question for a frequent guest. That would be Hans von Spakovsky, senior legal analyst at the Heritage Foundation, and he joins us now. Hans, thanks for being here.
Sure, thanks for having me back.
So, the Washington, first of all, I had some questions prepared, and then I thought about it. I'm gonna put you on the spot right out of the chute here, and just say before we get into the details here, would you?
I think if they could come up with a the judge is going to have to review the case. Plus, they filed a motion to dismiss. Sandman's lawyers get a chance to respond to that and tell the judge why he should not dismiss the case. The key thing here for this case is going to be if the plaintiffs survive the motion to dismiss, if the judge says, nope, I'm not dismissing this case is going to trial, well, then there'll be a lot more incentive for the Washington Post to actually settle the case.
Do you think, I know you would not have any way of knowing this for sure, but do you think that the Post's attorneys went in there yesterday with any kind of optimism that they might get it dismissed?
I think it's an uphill battle for them because I think is what they said defamatory. So I actually would expect the Washington Post to lose this motion to dismiss because I think the judge would say, no, there are there's a dispute about the facts of what happened, and that can only be proven at trial.
And is this going to be if it goes to trial, a jury trial?
No, I think they're in federal court, and I think they want the judge to decide this. But actually, that's a good question. I don't know.
I just
if
thought
they
of it
asked
now.
for a jury trial.
Yeah, I was assuming it was a judge, but then I haven't.
And he got settlements out of both CNN and NBC when he filed that lawsuit.
Is that Lynn Wood?
Yes. Yeah. That's the guy.
Yeah. So now Sandman's lawyer said that the paper alleged this is something. A lot is turning on this apparently from the story that I read. It said that the paper alleged that Sandman assaulted the Native American with the guy that the drum. His name is. Nathan, I have it here somewhere. Phillips, Nathan Phillips.
Nathan Phillips.
Yeah.
Yep.
He says that Phillips, who, according to the lawyer for the Post, said that they only reported that Sandman blocked Phillips, and this is a big deal. They're claiming. What he said in the story, he was quoted in the story as saying that Sandman wouldn't let him out of there. Once he got in that crowd, Sandman blocked him from retreating. Of course, nothing on video backs him up on that.
No, that's right. And they're saying also that the Post in its stories was falsely accusing Sandman of instigating what had happened and conveyed the idea that he'd acted in a racist manner by swarming. That's the word. He's swarming Phillips and blocking his exit away from the students. That's a factual assertion, and if somebody gets facts wrong, you can sue them for defamation. Yeah, probably it did, and I'm sure their liability company is not very happy about this. But look, you and I both know that plaintiffs' attorneys often claim a heck of a lot more money than they're willing to settle for,
right.
And that big certainly got a lot of attention for the cases, but I have no doubt they'd be willing to settle for a much smaller amount.
So this kid, would you like this? Do you like this kid's prospect of getting out of here with multiple millions of dollars when this is over? I mean, I'm rooting for him. I hope he does.
He's got other people don't have, and that is, as you know, back in the 1960s, the New York Times, you'll win to prove is that a newspaper printed facts about you that were false and put you in a bad light. If you're a public figure, like a politician,
He said that the amount, or I guess the story I read, he said because he is suing for $250 million, is going to or make it tougher for the judge to award that kind of money to.
That libel occurred. His job is to come up with an amount that is correctly compensates for the damage to Sandman's reputation.
Yeah,
and his future prospects for everything from getting accepted employment when he gets out.
Yeah, they said they have to prove the Post that could lead to a reasonable. Said this is what the Sandman's attorney said. Post reporting. If it's true that he was made worthy of contempt, right?
Yeah, but that's compensatory damages. They failed to verify them before they published them. So they're also asking for punitive damages.
And the judge made a point about the complexity of the case. He said there's great public interest. What would you make of that?
Oh, I about that. Remember, this for 48 hours. Just Virginia by the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity after they falsely reported a story about a supposed rape that it turned out never happened, and that the university and the fraternity knew about it and tried to cover it up. And, Rolling Stone ended up agreeing to settle that case for $1.65 million.
Yep. And we just had the Oberlin case, which isn't, I think a lot of people were surprised at the bakery got in that case.
Yes, that was Oberlin College also falsely stating that a local bakery had engaged in racist behavior. All of which was just totally false, and the university knew it.
And financial loss. How do you detail $250 million?
Well, that's why I think they've asked for too much money. But I do think they can detail the damage of this kid's reputation in today's academic world. He may have a tough time getting into some of the colleges and universities. Career.
And finishing up here, Hans, Lynn Wood, he was the lead attorney. He says the case has significance for media reporting on private minor subjects. You kind of touched on that a little bit earlier, but that he's saying that this could be a major case.
Oh, I think in another case, Justice Clarence Thomas wrote a dissent about how he thought that the rules that the Supreme Court had created about defamation cases were not actually in accord with what the law ought to be. And here we have another case of media organs who may get hit because of the false stories they printed about a minor, someone who was not an adult. And if they get away with this, if they actually end up having to pay an amount of money, that could improve the way they do their reporting and prevent them from jumping to conclusions, especially for someone they apparently identified as a pro-Trump kid because of a MAGA hat that he was wearing.
And we're finishing up here with Hans von Spakovsky. He's a senior analyst at the Heritage Foundation. Hans, I can't let you go without asking you what to expect from the Mueller appearance.
I think Democrats are expecting they're going to get some surprise they can use against the president. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I could be wrong. But remember, Mueller in his press conference said, I'm going to stick to the 4 pages of the Mueller report. It says everything I have to say about this, and I don't think he's going to go outside. I already know.
And Lindsey Graham says it's going to blow up in the Democrats' face.
I think that's a real possibility, yes.
All right, we'll be watching. Always good to have you on, Hans. You cleared it up for us. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, we'll be right back. We've been telling you about something called Miracles in Moon for a few weeks here, and the president and CEO, Mike Magolic, joins us.
Thanks for having us, John. We appreciate all the support.
Mike, your son has a genetic disorder that makes him someone who will appreciate this field, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Our youngest son, Luke, has a rare genetic disease called 5P-. About 30 to 35 kids a year in the U.S. are born with it.
Wow, that's all.
So the main reason that we're building this field with the help of the community is that we want everyone to have a team, everyone to use a restroom with the dignity that they deserve, and have families to have a safe place to play.
You're not getting any federal taxpayer money here, right? So this is all donations that's going to get this thing done?
Yeah, that's correct. Everyone talks about how great Pittsburgh is, and our board can definitely feel that because the money that we've raised, close to $2 million, has been from individuals, companies, and foundations.
And if you'd like to see how you can help, please go to the website. Check it out at miraclesinmoon.org. Miraclesinmoon.org. If you're an employer, a business owner, if you up, the cost of doing business continues to skyrocket, strangling your HR department with more regulations, administrative duties, and liability than ever. I'm John Steigerwald. Your health plan's a big part of that cost. Another year, another 10% rate hike, another $1,000 increase on your deductible, another hospital or doctor you can't go to because they're not in the network. Isn't it time for a change? Well, stop the insanity and call Marley Financial, the most innovative agency in the industry. Put an end to the annual increase. Give your work that all hospitals accept and reduce your monthly premiums by 20 to 30%. It doesn't matter when your renewal is. Marley can help today. Call 724-884-1496. Marley Financial, 724-884-1496. 724-1496.
You watch what you eat. You're hitting the gym. You're doing your best to live a healthy life. But did you know that a bad night's sleep and a bad mattress can have a big impact on your health? Here at the Original Mattress Factory, our hand-built mattresses made of the highest quality materials provide the comfort and support needed to provide healthy sleep for years to come. To learn more about how the right mattress can help you achieve healthy sleep habits, visit originalmattress.com, a store near you.
The flashy sales and the big markups. Mattress stores have made the mattress shopping experience confusing on purpose. Ron Trzynski started the Original Mattress Factory to create a better way. He raised the bar on quality, offered hand-built mattresses for a fraction of the cost, and ditched the high-pressure sales tactics, all to create a better mattress buying experience for you. You could say he was the original disruptor. Stop by an Original Mattress Factory store or visit us at originalmattress.com to see the OMF difference for yourself.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective. Through the land of come with me to get first-hand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. Walk the ancient temple steps, sail on the Sea of Galilee, and so many more unforgettable moments. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your opportunity. With expert guides and important lectures at key sites, we'll be together in the comfort and safety of luxurious accommodations the whole time. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed...
Details about the trip, or sign up now to join Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager on the Stand With Israel tour by going to theanswerpgh.com/Israel. That's theanswerpgh.com/Israel.
This is the John Steigerwald Show on AM 1250 and FM 92.5. The Answer.
So a few months ago, the Democrats unanimously passed a proposition or a bill that's they all sponsored unanimously, called the Equality Act. And what it will do, among other things, is allow men to compete against women in sports. So I've been trying for a long time to get a couple of local congressmen to comment on that. Both of whom voted for it. So here's an email that our producer Aaron sent to the media guy, Matt Dinkle, for Mike Doyle, congressman. Reaching out again to see if Congressman Mike Doyle can give us a statement regarding the Equality Act and subsequent trans athlete female sports issue that was created. John was going to talk about it on air today. Would like to know more specifically if Mr. Doyle, by voting yes to pass the Equality Act, has a statement explicitly addressing trans female athletes competing against biological females. Since our primary listening audience is in Mr. Doyle's district, we feel it is our duty to inform listeners of our local representatives' voting decisions and a statement on why they voted that way as it impacts them directly. Or if Mr. Doyle is available, our offer still stands. We would love to hear from him directly, either live on air via phone or by doing a pre-record. We also sent an email to Connor Lamb and got no response. But this is the response from Matt Dinkle, the media guy for Mike Doyle. Hi, Aaron, period. No, comma. He has no statement about that. That's it. So I sent Matt an email. I forwarded it to him. It was one word. Gutsy, period. Thanks, Matt. What's wrong with these guys? They vote for something like this could affect thousands of their constituents, and they can't answer for it? Give me a break. See you tomorrow.
The John Steigerwald Show is a production of AM 1250 The Answer and Salem Media Group.
Are you tired of your old and drafty windows and doors? Pella offers 3 lines of vinyl, a fiberglass product,